We are back with more of My Southern Home, and I'm here with Kris Coker with Century Renovations. And Kris, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm tickled to death that you guys are here. The house is happy, and we're happy that you're here to showcase a piece of Tennessee history. I'm really excited.
Well, it's such a beautiful story how you found this home and how you put your heart and soul into renovating it.
Yes. I had been looking for another project. Historical preservation is what I do. It's my passion, truly a passion, saving a piece of history one house at a time. We live in the area. I had noticed this house for many years and then was driving by it one day, saw that the weeds were tall, the vines were taking over the house, and I thought to myself, something's going on with that house. So did some research, found out that Johnny Maddox, the famous piano player, lived here. His son, it was the executor of the estate, found out his number and took me about a year to buy it, and the good Lord intervened, and the rest is history.
Well, one of the amazing things about this property is you were telling me that it was about to be condemned.
Yes, matter of fact, it's so funny because when I bought it, about 3 days later, I had a business card on the front door. These are the original front doors, and I thought, from the codes department, and I thought, what in the world? What have I done? They had the house condemned and inhabitable, and they were making sure that I didn't buy it and wasn't going to live in it. So they were in talks about possibly, believe it or not, tearing this house down, which blew my mind. This is a very, very early on house within Gallatin's history, and just couldn't believe that they were in talks or beginning talks about tearing this house down.
So what was the process that you went through to come in here and start renovating a home that was in such a state of disrepair, for lack of a better word?
The disrepair honestly didn't bother me. Commercial construction is my background. I'm used to dealing with ground up buildings and whatnot, so I saw the issues that needed to be fixed, and being proactive, I knew kind of what needed to be done, and I just took it on head on. And so I knew from the very beginning I had to hire a structural engineer and an architect to redesign a wall, and after that I dove in, researched with the federal period. This house is built during the federal period in the very early 1800s. And so my research, which I love doing, kept it period, kept everything original, and just, like I said, took the bull by the horns and just started the process of, restoration. It's a true restoration project. And so 3 years later, here we are. Here we are.
And I love how you kept as much as the original home that you possibly could.
I'm very adamant about keeping things original. That's the way I do my restoration. And like I was saying, I dive into the period, see the styles, see the colors, and keep it as original as possible. And then of course you modernize it to an extent. So I do this with in mind a family or a couple living here. So you want to be able to live with today's modern amenities, but feel that history. You want to feel the history without being too modernized per se. And it's a fine line for me, it's a fine line, and I always get a lot of good response, positive feedback, because when you walk in, I want you to feel like you're stepping back in history, but you can flip lights. You can feel the air coming in and turn on hot water. Of course, they didn't have those things back then. So it's important to me to keep it period. It really is.
Well, you talk about modern touches, but keeping it to the federal time period, and you've done a good job with that.
Thank you.
The kitchen is beautiful. That's a modern touch.
Mm-hmm. The modern touches, I knew very early on, the kitchen, some of the bathrooms, especially the kitchen, I really wanted a modern feel to it. You can get almost over-consumed with history, but adding modern touches like a modern bathroom with a commercial gas range, it brings you back to today, brings you into today's living, like I was saying, but keeps the historical feel of it. So I knew early on that I wanted to modernize the bathroom and the kitchens as well.
And this house is for sale, so someone can make this beauty their home.
This house is for sale. It's going to be quite the house for the history lover. It could be quite the house for a modern couple, you know, wanting to live within history. But yes, it's for sale. The 3-year project has come to an end. It's going to be bittersweet. I have established a relationship with the house, and the house has gotten to know me, and we have worked through all this together. So yes, it's for sale. It's a true piece of Tennessee history, very early on piece of Tennessee history.
Well, thank you so much, Kris.
Well,
I really
you're more than
appreciate
welcome.
it.
You're more than welcome.
We'll be back with more of My Southern Home in just a moment.